Hello, lovely people. I'm Sinead, and welcome to another Dolls and Dollhouses. Today, we're going to work on a backdrop for your fashion dolls or, well, anybody. Even that teddy bear right there could use this backdrop. It's all about how you want to use it. So, as you can see, I have this lovely festive backdrop going on behind the fashion dolls, but sometimes you want to have a backdrop that allows you to really put the emphasis on the outfit they're wearing, whether it's a brand new, hard to find outfit that you managed to get and you want to share that and really emphasize the outfit, or whether it's an outfit you just made and you want to show it off and have that be the feature of what it is in the photo. And so you want a backdrop that is warm and inviting, but not distracting. When I used to do costumes for human beings, I had red velvet curtains. They were a deep red, and they seemed to work with every costume I made. They really helped to emphasize that what I was showing was the costume. And hey, if you're curious, you can go over to my website, and in the gallery, there is pictures of the costumes, and a good lot of them are in front of those red velvet curtains. And if I had red velvet, deep red, that same color, I would be doing my backdrop out of that color, because very seldom do I put red clothes on my dolls. Usually, seasonally, I think, is the only time I put them in red. It's rare. So that's one of the things you'll want to take into consideration is what is the color that your dolls wear a lot of. Don't use that color. So if you put a lot of blue on your dolls, probably shouldn't put blue in the background. If you put a lot of pink on your dolls, don't choose pink. Choose something that'll help that pink pop. So what you can do is you can get out a doll and dress them up in that kind of color range. Maybe even put some odds colors, like combine things you wouldn't normally combine, just so that you've got the doll there in the different colors that you like to dress your dolls in, and then place the velvet or velour that you are going to use. And I only say use velvet or velour because it does have a nice depth to it. You could also use sparkly lame if that's a direction you want to go with your background. I only had colors that were gonna not work with the colors I put my dolls in. So I do put a lot of blue on my dolls, a lot of brown, and a lot of purple. And those shades, all I had was, well, I don't think I had enough silver. Silver would have worked, but I don't think I had enough of that. I had a lot of blue, and that just wasn't going to work with those colors. Yeah, I set the doll in front of it, and it just didn't pop the way you want it to pop. And also, that's not warm and inviting. That's very party, and very, what is the word I want to, exciting, but not warm. So if you want warm, stay away from the shiny, sparkly, lame type fabrics and stick to something more like the velour. You can use satins. Satin curtains would also work because they have that variation in the way in which this finish reflects the light. And satin is not a fiber content. Satin is a finish. That satin can be made out of polyester, nylon, rayon, or silk. So your choice there. I thought about getting a piece of pine, but I don't think we have any out in the garage right now that is the right size. And I have this cork board, which it's only got a thin layer of cork on one side, and then the rest is a fiber board. And I think it'll hold on to the staples because I'm going to use a staple gun for putting the curtain on here. And my thoughts at this point is to attach the curtain at both the top and the bottom so that it's easier to store and move around and not have to rearrange it every time. I might get frustrated with that and leave it loose at the bottom, but we'll see. After taking my doll that was dressed in multiple colors and putting it in front of the browns and the colors I had, I think, available to me was the blue lame, a reddish brown, and a more gray brown, and olive. And I chose the olive because it worked with the majority of colors that I put on my dolls, so that I can emphasize that. Now, granted, yeah, I wouldn't stand out very much in front of this olive because of this, the vest wouldn't, and this skirt wouldn't, but you got to pick a color, and this is the color I picked, so hopefully I don't regret that, but you know, I don't think I will. I think that what I will do maybe at some future time is create a reverse side on this board, because that's an option. But let's get started. Okay, I have this fabric. It's folded in half. So you can see it's almost twice the width, but not quite. You could do twice the width. It'd give you more fabric to work with. And it's longer. I gave it, that looks like 2 inches, probably 1.5 inches to 2 inches on each end. And that's because I'm going to wrap it around to the back side and attach it on the back side. If you're using solid wood, you could attach in to the end and not have to wrap it around to the back. If I decide to do the back side, I'll have to use some upholstery methods to be able to do that. But, and maybe I'll do a video about it. It probably won't happen unless I happen across some deep red velvet that I can use, because that would be the other color that I would love to have. So what I want to do here and is make little pleats or just little folds that look like drapery, and probably going to end up pinning this in place so that I can turn it over. I'm trying to keep the distance at the top and the bottom the same. I think when I flapped it around, I got more at this end. So I want to be able to tuck the first edge under, but it only needs to go just, well, just to the edge or barely under. You know, that might make this easier if I just start by stapling that. I had to get my staples actually in the staple gun. So I've laid this out with the amount that I want to pull up over here and trying to keep it even. And here's where velvet is easier to use than velour, because the velour stretches, and the velvet you could just give a little tug, and because it's a woven fabric, it would just move from one end to the other smoothly. And the velour just wants to stretch and make it tighter, so I'm lifting to kind of let it relax back. And I've put staples in here that are 1/2 inch, and I believe this, okay, this is 1/2 inch thick, or maybe just barely thicker than that, and the risk would be that it goes through. But the 1/4 inch ones I didn't think were going to hold well, which has been a problem I've had in the past with it. Hopefully that sound isn't too annoying, because there's going to be a lot of it. So I don't know if you're familiar with upholstery process, but a lot of what goes on when you're doing upholstery is pulling the fabric around the piece of furniture and stapling it, and then you go back and you cover that with another piece that goes on here that is usually flipped up and attached and then brought down, so that you don't see these staples. Anyway, it's Sometimes there's a piece of cardstock or fiberboard of some sort within the fabric as it goes back over. And it's really, I'm sitting here trying to explain it, and it's not necessary for this. It was just a thought. And it's a thought that would do better if I explained it with pictures. So I am going to pull this up and give it a little fold. I think I want to fold that way. And I am going to stick a straight pin to hold it. And we'll just go along and do the whole thing. Okay, I had to start over because I took too deep of pleats, and so I may have gone too far in making them a shallower pleat, but or tuck, however you want to refer to this. So I'm trying not to do more than half an inch under, but I also noticed that I was getting further and further apart as I went across. And they don't have to be even, and they can totally be further and further apart. It doesn't really affect its usefulness as a backdrop. But I'm trying to keep them around half an inch deep this time. It may end me up with extra fabric. And I also started sticking a pin in the center here so I wouldn't pull too much out of the pleat as I laid it down, just kind of trying to keep it even from top to bottom. Okay, once you have the pleats in the way that you want them, we're going to very carefully pick this up and turn it over. Now, hopefully, the pins will have facilitated the whole process of turning it over. If you're working into like a pine board instead of something soft like this fiberboard, you might want to use tape or a push pin, something that has more oomph to it to get into the pine. Push pins work pretty good. And then you are going to staple it in place. Now, I want to take out the extra fabric that is right here in the corner to make it less bulky, just in case I decide I want to do that red velvet curtain later. Again, it's whether or not I can find that red velvet. The velour isn't going to do a lot of fraying, but velvet will if you're using that. Certain other fabrics will too. So be aware of that when you choose your fabric. That might be a deciding factor that you don't want to deal with that. You could put glue. You could be doing this with glue. I don't know how well the glue would hold to the fiberboard because it tends to come apart. But you could be using glue to keep it from fraying. You could possibly use glue to hold it in place. And then I'm just making sure that I capture, that staple didn't go in for some reason. Capture each of the pleats so that I can take out the pin without losing. Oh, I bet you the staple is not, for some reason, the staple is not going through the fabric easily, which is weird. And then we're just going to continue around, get this side as well, cut out the extra fabric so that it lays flat. Okay, we're all stapled in place, ready to turn it over. And there we are. Probably take a lint brush to it because we've picked up nice little pieces of string and whatnot. You have a grain on your velvet or your velour, and I would pay attention to the direction on that. So it's smooth when I go this way and it's rough when I go that way. And I would put it going, the end that you go down from and it gives a smooth effect, would probably be the end I'd call top, so that we have it just easier when you're setting up to go, brushed it down, we're good. And I'm going to go set it up and put a doll in front of it and show you that. Okay, here's Reggie, and I use her purple hair, her blue jacket, the bag, the burgundy, all work in front of this green. Now, if I were taking a photo, I would have the camera oriented the other way to where you wouldn't have the background noise on both sides, and you would only see Reggie. But because this has to fit into the format of the video, you're catching the noise on either side. But just to let you know that this was the doll I used and the outfit I used to decide whether or not the green was going to work. So dress your doll up in the colors that you use the most, or the colors that you think you're going to want to use the most to pick out your background. And have fun. Maybe do several of them so you can be prepared for whatever comes along. I hope you enjoyed that project and that you found it useful, and that you are enjoying your winter holiday season, no matter what it is you celebrate or don't celebrate. That you find, I find that the winter holidays need some brightness to them. I don't do a lot of celebrating of anything, but I celebrate twinkly lights and sparklies and making content. No. We do sit down and on solstice morning well, we spend all of solstice that day together. That is how we celebrate that moment in the winter season. We do give gifts, and we do play games. I think we've got scheduled this year to go curl up with a book, and in my case, with my new toys. Yeah, fingers crossed on that one. Let's see. I'm going to take a 2-week break, and during that, so this will be airing on the 20th, I believe, and there will be the making of the gnome cottages, which is something that Joey and I have been working on putting together, a collaboration between the two of us in making these little mushroom cottages. And that video will air on the 23rd. And then there will be none of the Dolls and Dolls Houses or Craft and Chat until the 8th of January. I believe that's the date that I will resume posting. There may be shorts. I may do some shorts and just throw them up, and you can go, hopefully if you're subscribed, they will show up in your feed and you'll be able to see what's going on. If not, take it as an opportunity to go back and watch those videos you've missed. Go ahead and subscribe so that you do have those videos showing up in your feed if you'd like to see what's going on. But no matter what it is that you are doing this winter for us Northern Hemisphere individuals, or what it is you're doing in the summer in the Southern Hemisphere, I hope you're enjoying it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.